You belong to yourself. You're an independent people, created from the nation of free people.
Yes, sir.
You don't need to go nowhere but to yourself.
Yes,
sir. So the challenge is an education that enlivens us to do business. Business is the activity of life itself. Every creature is born with the inherent ability to attract out of this material earth what it needs to perpetuate its species.
Assalamu alaikum, or peace be unto you, and welcome to week 17 of the MOEToday, or the Mind of an Entrepreneur Today series on manifestation, based upon the book written by Charles F. Hannell called The Master Key System. And this series is an extension of my brand, The Mind of an Entrepreneur Today, or MOEToday for short. I developed this series back in 2011 and made it a part of my weekly radio broadcast. And it became the foundation for the second half of the Mind of an Entrepreneur book. And so instead of publishing it as a book, I decided to recreate the series. So the Mind of an Entrepreneur brand of products and services explores mental strategies and offers free game on how to navigate the world of business. Y'all know I always tell y'all, make sure you begin and continue. And so I began and I continue to offer a unique approach to business that combines traditional disciplines with consciousness. I'm an international businesswoman, an industry disruptor, global thought leader, philanthropist, and master business and real estate developer. And I'm striving to become a God and a powerful manifestor. So thank you for being here this evening. I'm excited to take this journey to you. So welcome. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We've got some fantastic shows on this channel. We've got the MOEToday series on Black Muslim businesses, and MOEToday, or Mind of an Entrepreneur Today, which is what that stands for. It's a brand that I developed back in 2009. The MOEToday series on Black Muslim businesses is about highlighting individual businesses from a new emerging market of entrepreneurs who understand the importance of unity and introducing much needed goods and services into our community. We are Black Muslims who are responding to an instruction given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is to get up and do something for ourselves. And doing for self means that we begin to own and monetize our own future and our own circumstances. We no longer beg others to do for us what we can do for ourselves. And this emerging market covers every industry and is made up of people who have made a commitment to excellence. We're spiritually committed to service. And then we have the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. This show is an extension of my brand, The Authentic You. It's all about discovering and monetizing your own authenticity. It's fine-tuning the top energy levels needed in order for us to live an authentic life. It's spirituality, it's love, it's life, it's business, it's family, it's money. Y'all know I'm all about hacking our brain so that we can change what we're manifesting by changing the power of our thoughts and even actually changing our thoughts. And then we have the MOEToday series on manifestation. And I set out on a mission back in 2005 to become a powerful manifester. That was my goal. I prayed to Allah. I said, please make me one of your conduits and please help me to become a powerful manifester. And then I didn't just pray for it and believe in a spook God. I went for it and I began to study it. And I didn't want to be that person who says they're going to do things and not do it. I wanted to be that person who, when I interacted with someone or someone came into my life, that my presence could make a difference. And I wanted to manifest on a powerfully life-changing level. And I've been blessed to manifest and to accomplish on a massive scale. And with each accomplishment, there's a change in certainty, and that change in certainty brings about new levels of success. So as we move from level to level, we have to master the consciousness required in order for us to achieve on that next level, and then move on to the next and the next and the next. So you never get it done. You should always be a student. I'm always studying. So that's what this show is all about. No matter where you are in life, this show is for you. You can always benefit from mental strategies. And tonight is week 17 of our manifestation series. And we're going to keep going until we finish this book. And I got some other books that we're just going to keep flowing through. So make sure you like and subscribe to the page. So one of the things, so welcome to everybody that's here. Blessings. Walaikum salam. Thursday blessings to you. Thank you to everyone. Wow, what a blessing. Welcome back, Sister Anissa. Walaikum salam. I'm glad you're feeling better. All right. So what we're going to do, I always try to do something different when we bring this information to you all. And normally we go through the Q&A, right? And we just kind of dig through it, and I give my commentary. Excuse my voice. Ramadan is over. I can get some water. And so what I thought we would do tonight, we're going to do something different. I'm just going to read through this chapter of the book. I'm sorry, you guys. I got something in my tooth. I'm not trying to be rude here. All right. Let's see. That's what we're going to do. We're going to read through, because part 17 is so powerful. Part 17 that puts a lot of emphasis on thought and concentration. And it's one of those things that a lot of us have a hard time dealing with. We have a hard time just focusing on one thing. We tend to kind of have, what they call in Buddhism, like monkey brains, where we can't really think straight. We're just always popping from one thought to the next and not able to focus. And I will tell you that one of the keys that I learned to becoming a powerful manifestor and manifesting on a powerful level is being able to concentrate. And so I learned to put myself in a position where I can focus on what I wanted to focus on. And as I began to develop myself financially, I began to create a home and environments for myself where I could always, focus and surround myself with beautiful things and things that I love, and, put myself in situations where I could always think right. And so that's important. But let's just, let's go through this. Let's go through part 17. Okay. And if you have the book, you can follow along. If you don't, just listen. We're going to have a few comments. I'm going to have you guys write some things in the chat. So all of you who are in there, welcome Magnolia Crescent Orchards. Walaikum salam. You all see their logo at the top here. They're one of our sponsors tonight, and we're excited to have them on. They are also going to be participating with us in the Donate and Sip for the fundraiser for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, which is coming up real soon. So that's why y'all see me oversleeping and looking like, because we've been really grinding to make sure that this fundraiser is a success, to make sure that, our word is bond, that we accomplish our goal. And for me, I'm so excited to show y'all this house. So it's just taken everything in me to put behind this fundraiser and some of the other efforts that we're doing to see this through, because our finish line is right there. So if during this this talk you decide you want to donate, you got a couple dollars in your pocket and you want to give, go to sajdahhousedonations.com. And if you can be in Chicago, come in, fly in, drive in, take the bus in, come on down to the Silver Room on May 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. Central Time. And we're going to be there. We are going to have a good time, inshallah. And we're going to have some non-alcoholic beverages from our very own Black Muslim businesses, Magnolia Crescent Orchards. And got a few celebrity guests coming, some politicians, and you. So we'll hope you would show up. So anyway, just want to take that quick commercial break. All right, so let's talk about part 17. And like I mentioned, part 17 of this book, The Master Key System, talks a lot about thoughts and concentration. And it begins like this: the kind of deity which a man or a woman consciously or unconsciously worships indicates the intellectual status of the worshiper. That's some interesting stuff, right? I'm blessed to be a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, and so I am totally excited about this statement. But I think you should put some thought into it. That's an amazing statement. I'll read it again. The kind of deity which a man or woman consciously or unconsciously worships indicates the intellectual status of the worshiper. It's like you guys hear me always talking about how we make gods out of our problems. So if you create a deity out of your problem, or a deity out of your boss, or a deity out of something that is the effect of a cause, then it's going to directly impact your intellectual status, because you're going to automatically be limiting yourself. You're way down into the roots when we should be really worshiping the creator of it all. And those that are representing that should be people that we are following and really focusing on. So this part is going to dig into this a little bit more. And I'll try not to talk too much, but y'all know I can't help it, because I absolutely love this book. I promise you, if you go through all 24 parts, when you get to the end, your life will be different. It'll be changed. I promise you on that. Okay, so he goes on to say, ask the Indian of God, and he will describe to you a powerful chieftain of a glorious tribe. Ask the pagan of God, and he will tell you of a God of fire, a God of water, a God of this, that, and the other. Ask the Israelite of God, and he will tell you of the God of Moses, who conceived it expedient to rule by coercive measures, hence the 10 Commandments, or of Joshua, who led the Israelites into battle, confiscated property, murdered the prisoners, and laid to waste cities. The so-called heathen made graven images of their gods, whom they were accustomed to worship, but among the most intelligent, at least, these images were but the visible fulcrums with which they were enabled to mentally concentrate on the qualities which they desired to externalize in their lives. We of the 20th century worship a God of love in theory, but in practice, we make for ourselves graven images of wealth, power, fashion, custom, and conventionality. We fall down before them and worship them. So this is what we've been talking about in class: worshiping wealth, worshiping power, worshiping fashion, custom. We concentrate on them, and they are thereby externalized in our life. The students who masters the contents of part 17 will not mistake the symbols for the reality. He or she will be interested in causes rather than effects. We talked about that before, remember? Being interested in causes and not effects. That's an interesting thing. All right, so let's get into it. All right, y'all doing all right in the chat? Put in the chat for me that tonight we are focusing on concentration and thoughts. And somebody else can put in the chat that we're focusing on what we make deities of in our life. Be very careful, because you can become a polytheist person overnight. You can create a deity out of a problem, a deity out of something that isn't worthy of you worshiping it. You have to be very careful with that. This is what I see happening a lot in the news, because the news comes up and it does all this fear mongering, rules us by fear. And then we become so focused on what we don't want to happen that we are literally worshiping what we don't want. And in worshiping what we don't want, we're literally making happen what we don't want to happen. All right. So thank you, Sister Alita, for putting that in the chat for us. All right. So first part of part 17 says, we are told that man has dominion over all things. This dominion is established through mind. Thought is the activity which controls every principle beneath it. I'm going to say that again. Thought is the activity which controls every principle beneath it. The highest principle, by reason of its superior essence and qualities, necessarily determines the circumstances, aspects, and retaliation of everything with which it comes in contact. Second part tells us this: the vibrations of mental forces are the finest and consequently the most powerful in existence. To those who perceive the nature and transcendency, can't even say that right, transcendency of mental force, all physical power sinks into insignificance. We are accustomed to look upon the universe with the lens of five senses. And from these experiences, our anthropomorphic conceptions originate. But true conceptions are only secured by spiritual insight. This insight requires a quickening of the vibrations of the mind and is only secured when the mind is continuously concentrated in a given direction. So this is why throughout this series for the past 17 weeks, we've been talking about the power of stilling our mind, the power of calibrating ourselves using prayer and gratitude, and then quieting and stilling our mind, making it still so that we can then learn to concentrate and direct it like a laser on whatever it is we want to focus on. But as long as we kind of got these monkey brains happening, we're not really able to manifest anything because we're not focusing on anything long enough. Okay, continuous concentration means an even unbroken flow of thought and is the result of patient, persistent, persevering, and a well-regulated system. So we're talking about creating a system with our mind where we begin to focus on what it is that we want. So concentration here is the key. Great discoveries are the result of long continued investigation. The science of mathematics, for example, requires years of concentrated effort in order to master it. And the greatest science, that of the mind, is revealed only through concentrated effort. Okay? Concentration is much misunderstood. There seems to be an idea or effort or activity associated with it when just the contrary is necessary. This is what I was just talking about, learning to sit and really focus on nothing. This is what this is talking about here. The greatness of an actor, for example, lies in the fact that he or she forgets him or herself in the portrayal of their character, becoming so identified with it that the audience is swayed by the realism of the performance. This will give you a good idea of true concentration. You should be so interested in your thought, so engrossed in your subject as to be conscious of nothing else. Such concentration leads to intuitive perception and immediate insight into the nature of the object concentrated on. I love the fact here that he used the example of an actor, because you hear about actors going into character and releasing themselves to that character to the point where they become that character. Well, this is what's important for you and I. When we want to do something, when we want something, I said that I wanted to be a conduit for God and that I wanted to be a powerful manifester. So I have to be like that actor where I throw myself into that transformation process, I got to be all in. The next part here says, all knowledge is the result of concentration of this kind. It is thus that the secrets of heaven and earth have been wrested. It is thus that the mind becomes a magnet, and the desire to know draws the knowledge irresistibly, attracts it, and makes it your own. Let me say a little bit of that again. When we learn to become like that actor, then our mind becomes a magnet, and our desire to know and to be that character draws the knowledge of that character and attracts it and makes it our own. That's why there's so many actors and actresses. You really don't know them as a person. You really only know the characters. Now, I'm not telling you all to be fake and acting and do something and then go back to your regular life. I'm telling you how you got to dive in and go all in when whatever it is that you want is right there on the horizon. You can't be pedestrian with this kind of stuff. And the reason why you can't be pedestrian is because you have people who spend billions of dollars, and we talk about this every week. They spend billions of dollars to control our minds. So if you're walking around kind of ho-hum, pedestrian, no aim, just walking aimlessly, then they're going to gain control of your mind. And they're going to tell you what to eat, what to think, how to dress, where to go, what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. But you're going to be under the delusion or the illusion that you're the one that's making up, making your own agenda. But in fact, you aren't. I don't care how strong-minded you think you are. I don't care how religious you think you are. If you don't master the ability to concentrate and focus and become whatever it is that you want, you are at the will of somebody else, whether you want to believe it or not. The book goes on to say that desire is largely subconscious. Conscious desire rarely realizes its object when the latter is out of immediate reach. Subconscious desire arouses the latent faculties of the mind, and difficult problems seem to solve this. The subconscious mind may be aroused and brought into action in any direction and made to serve us for any purpose by concentration. So whatever's laying dormant in your mind, you access that through this effortless way in which we're being taught to concentrate. Those blind spots, those things that are holding you back, where you can't figure out what's keeping you in a particular space. You're saying, I know I could be so much more happier. I know I want to be so much more happier. But for whatever reason, I just can't. Why? Because you got some kind of blind spot. You got to check your belief system. Check your ability to concentrate. What are you giving up? And what are you willing to give up, I should say, in order to have what it is that you want? If you say you want to be 10 times happier than what you are, if you say you want to be 10 times wealthier than what you are, if you say you want to be 10 times healthier than what you are, if you say you want to be 10 times more in love than what you are, if you say you want to experience 10 times more love than what you're experiencing, well, that can happen. But you got to concentrate. You got to be willing to make the right moves. You got to be willing to expand your choices and your options. You got to be willing to go all in. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Spiritual truth is therefore the controlling factor. Oh, wait. Let me go back. The subconscious mind may be aroused and brought into action in any direction and made to serve us for any purpose by concentration. The practice of concentration requires the control of the physical, mental, and physical being. I think they meant to say spiritual being. So I'm gonna ask you guys to put in the chat. The practice of concentration requires control of the physical, mental, and spiritual being. The practice of concentration requires the control of the physical, mental, and spiritual being. Say it one more time. The practice of concentration requires the control of the physical, mental, and spiritual being. All modes of consciousness, whether physical, mental, or spiritual, must be under control. Somebody asked the question, how does one still the mind? We can talk about that a little bit. We've been covering that, sis, for the past 16 weeks on how we still and control our minds. And we've had exercises at the end of each of the chapters that helped us to begin to still our mind. So we'll talk about it a little bit at the end of this session, but I encourage you to go back and binge on the past episodes so that you can begin with the exercises from the beginning and learn how to first calibrate your mind through prayer and gratitude, and then move from that into meditation and the stilling of the mind. Okay, spiritual truth is therefore the controlling factor. It is this which will enable you to grow out of limited attainment and reach a point where you will be able to translate modes of thought into character and consciousness. Again, I love this chapter because it starts to tie together everything that we've been learning, right? It's tying together everything we've been learning. We've been talking for weeks now about how to access that energy and that spirit of revelation. And we've been talking for weeks now about how fertile the vibration of the spirit of revelation really truly is. It's so fertile and transformative that it impacts your skin, it impacts your body, it impacts how you present. People can see it in your face when you're accessing the spirit of revelation. And we talked about how we use creativity to go into that creative space where it's just really us and that energy, us and Allah. We talked about that. So go back and check that out. Anyway, concentration. Oh, thank you, Alita, for putting that in. The practice of concentration requires the control of physical, mental, and the spiritual. All right, y'all. All right. Concentration does not mean mere thinking of thoughts, but the transmutation of these thoughts into practical values. So everything begins with a thought, but you can't stop at the thought. You have to transmute that thought into values. The average person has no conception of the meaning of concentration. There is always the cry to have, but never the cry to be. Again, tying in what we've been talking about over the past 17 weeks, learning to be and match up vibrationally with whatever it is that we want. Learning to be, what is going on in our brain that's blocking us to be. So I'm going to read that part again. There's always the cry to have, but never the cry to be. They fail to understand that they cannot have one without the other, that they must first find the kingdom before they can have the things added. Momentary enthusiasm is of no value. It is only unbounded self-confidence that the goal is reached. The mind may place the ideal a little too high and fall short of the mark. So you know how we're always talking about in class, you never get it done. You keep going. You're continually using your emotions to point you in the right direction and tell you where you are. So through stilling our mind, we're not shutting down parts of ourselves. We're using those parts of ourselves to tell us where we are. So that when we fall short, we say, okay, this is what I need to tweak. This is where I need to go. So the book here says the mind may place the ideal a little too high and fall short of the mark. It may attempt to soar on untrained wings and instead of flying, fall to the earth. But that is no reason for not making another attempt. Again, put this in the chat. Our idea here in this class is to begin and continue. So type in the chat, we must begin and we must continue. We must begin and continue. Weakness is the only barrier to mental attainment. Attribute your weakness to physical limitations or mental uncertainties and try again. Ease and perfection are gained by repetition. So when you fail at something, don't just keep going at it and doing the exact same thing that you was doing before. Do just as if you had a coach and your coach would say to you, jump a little higher, pivot off this foot, bend your knees, focus on what you need to do better and who you need to become in order to accomplish what it is that you desire. Okay, so let's skip down here. All mental discovery and attainment are the result of desire plus concentration. Desire is the strongest mode of action. The more persistent the desire, the more authoritative the revelation. Ooh. Desire added to concentration will wrench any secret from nature. Wow. Nature holds so many secrets. There's so much in nature that we have yet to discover. But what this author is saying to us is that if we have desire added with concentration, we can wrench out or dig up or call out any secret in nature if we learn how to use our mind properly. We have to learn how to marry our desire with the concentration and take those vibrations and figure out who we need to be to accomplish that goal. It's really not as hard as what it may seem like it. In realizing great thoughts, in experiencing great emotions that correspond with great thoughts, the mind is a state where it appreciates the value of higher things. The intensity of one moment's earnest concentration and the intense longing to become and to attain may take you further than years of slow, normal, and forced effort. Let me read that again. The intensity of one moment of real earnest concentration and the intense longing to become and to attain something may take you further than years of slow and normal effort, which is what we're taught. Go to work 9 to 5, spend more hours in a day focusing on somebody else's goal, and then come home at night and give yourself a few hours of focused concentration. Read that one more time. The intensity of one moment's earnest concentration and the intense longing to become and to attain may take you further than years of slow and normal and forced effort. It will unfasten the prison bars of unbelief, weakness, impetus, and self-belittlement, and you will come into a realization of the joy of overcoming. This is why you have to keep movement. You have to keep momentum. If you have a desire towards something, make sure you're moving towards it. Make sure you're doing something in that vein, doing something towards whatever it is that you want. If you say, man, I really love this person, I really want to see this person, then you should be doing something towards that on an everyday basis. If you say, I really want this business, I really want this invention to go public and to make it a household item, then you have to be focused on that and making moves and strides towards that. Once you start getting that momentum, and you will find that every single day something new is going to happen for you that will push you towards your goal if you're concentrating and your desires are in the right place. All right. The spirit of initiative and originality is developed through persistence and continuity of mental effort. Persistence and continuity of mental effort. You gotta put in the mental labor. You gotta put in the spiritual labor. It's just like working out. We gotta build up these muscles. Business teaches the value of concentration and encourages decisions of character. It develops practical insight and quickness of conclusion. The mental element in every commercial pursuit is dominant as the controlling factor, and desire is the predominating force of commercial relations, are the extreme externalization of desire. something popped in my head while I was reading that to you, and to say this. So many of us feel like, okay, I've kind of found myself spiritually. I know who I am. I believe strongly in my spirituality, and I believe that it is the supreme wisdom that will change the world, whatever it is you believe in. But sometimes we become lazy. We become lazy because we think that the word itself is going to take us to that next level. The word itself, or the fact that we believe in the world, is going to grandfather us into, whatever abundance it is that we're looking for. But it's not. It's really us using those beliefs and those principles as our foundation, as our behavioral models, as our roadmaps, as our door to that next level. But it's also putting in that mental labor, learning to still our mind, because if that word, that teaching that you follow is the foundation, and if it's nature, then in the nature of the word is a secret. And it's only through desire and concentration that you can unlock the secret of the word. You can't get to the secret of the word just by saying, yep, I believe. You have to desire the benefit of the word, and then you have to concentrate on the word. It has to set in your heart. You got to know and focus on it like it's a must. But if that is if that's a created thing, and you believe that what you study and what you follow is the word of God, in that word, in the nature of that word, are secrets that we can only unlock if we desire and if we concentrate. Right? Desire and concentration. Thank y'all for being all active over here in the chat. All right, so let's keep going here. We got a little bit left to go. All of us are dynamos, but the dynamo of itself is nothing. The mind must work the dynamo. Then it is useful, and its energy can be definitely concentrated. The mind is an engine whose power is undreamed. Thought is an omni-working power. It is the ruler and creator of all form and all events occurring in form. Physical energy is nothing in comparison with the omnipotence of thought, because thought enables man and woman to harness all other natural power. Type in the chat that thoughts are spiritual energy. Also type in the chat that vibration is the action of thought. That's heavy right there. Vibration is the action of thought. Let's type that in the chat. Vibration is the action of thought. Why is that so important? Because we're running around here not being disciplined about our thoughts. And that, in essence, is creating a vibe. It's creating a vibration. Vibration is the action of thought. So if we are talking about matching ourselves vibrationally with whatever it is that we want, then our thoughts have to be right, because vibration is the action of thought. It is vibration which reaches out and attracts the material necessary to construct and build. Let's put that in the chat. It is vibration which reaches out and attracts the material necessary to construct and build. Good stuff. There's nothing mysterious concerning the power of thought. Concentration simply implies that consciousness can be focalized to the point where it becomes identified with the object of its attention. As food absorbed is the essence of the body, so the mind absorbs the object of its attention, gives it life and being. Man, I'm gonna take a breather here, because this is heavy stuff. This is really heavy stuff, but it's good stuff. Stuff we need to know. Vibration is the action of thought. We got to begin and we got to continue. All right, let's keep going. If you concentrate on some matter of importance, the intuitive power will be set in operation, and help will come in the nature of information, which will lead to success. So sometimes when we're working through a problem, we focus so hard on the problem, but we don't realize that just by concentrating, falling back and stilling our mind and just kind of concentrating on it, that a certain intuitive power will be set in motion. Intuition, where we'll have instincts. We'll instinctively know what to do next. I'm the kind of person, I'm always asking Allah, what is my next best move? And in this case, using this technique, then that intuitive power will be set in operation, and it will help. And help will come. The help we're looking for, the next move, the guidance, the help will come in the nature of information, which will lead to our success. Intuition arrives at conclusions without the aid of experience or memory. So what we're talking about here is learning to activate what is commonly called our intuition, which is what I called being a conduit for God, which we learn as Muslims of being in submission to the will of Allah. And somebody asked a question, does such intuitiveness develop discernment? Yes, it absolutely does develop discernment. Intuition arrives at conclusions without the aid of experience or memory. Let's put that in the chat. Intuition arrives at conclusions without the aid of experience or memory. Intuition arrives at conclusions without the aid of experience or memory. Intuition often solves problems that are beyond the grasp of our reasoning power. Think about that. Intuition often solves problems that are beyond the grasp of our ability to reason. Intuition often comes with a suddenness that is startling. You know how you just know? It reveals the truth for which we are searching so directly that it seems to come from a higher power. And we believe, many of us here, is that it actually does come from a higher power. Intuition can be cultivated and developed. In order to do this, it must be recognized and appreciated. That's why there's such beautiful discussion in our study guide, Self-Improvement for the Basis of Community Development, about how to strengthen the God within, right? That goes hand in hand with this, learning to strengthen the God within. And here it says, intuition can be cultivated and developed. In order to do this, it must be recognized and appreciated. We can't murder the God within. We can't quiet the God within. We must recognize and appreciate that God within and nurture that God within and allow the God within us to grow. If the intuitive visitor is given a royal welcome, so if the God within is given a royal welcome, then the God within will come again. And it'll become again. And it'll be more cordial. It'll be more frequent. But if we ignore or neglect or murder the God within, then it makes less frequent visits. They become few and far between, till pretty soon they just become silence. And the book goes on to say intuition usually comes in the silence. Great minds seek solitude frequently. It is here that all the larger problems of life are worked out. For this reason, every businessman who can afford it has a private office, businessman or woman, where he or she will not be disturbed. If you can't afford a private office, you can at least find somewhere, some place where you can be alone a few minutes a day. To train the thought along lines which will enable you to develop the invincible power which is necessary to achieve. Y'all all right in the chat? Give me some feedback in the chat. Let me know how this information is working with you. Remember that fundamentally the subconscious is omnipotent. There is no limit to the things that can be done when it is given the power to act. Your degree of success is determined by the nature of your desire. If the nature of your desire is in harmony with natural law or the universal mind, it will gradually emancipate the mind and give you invincible courage. All right. Every obstacle. Thank you so much. That is beautiful. Thank you, Brother Aunt D. All praise is due to Allah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope y'all doing all right here. Okay, let's keep going. We're almost done. What time is it? We may not finish. Let me go faster. Every obstacle conquered, every victory gained will give you more faith in your power, and you will have greater ability to win. I'm sorry, I got to stop here because we talked previous weeks ago about how each accomplishment each thing that you accomplish gives you more and more certainty. And every time you conquer another obstacle, every time you get another victory, you'll have more faith in your power. You'll have more of an ability to win. That's why we talk about creating micro goals. We may have a big goal, and then we create these little micro goals, these smaller goals along the way, so that we can keep climbing and becoming more certain and more certain and more certain. Your strength is determined by your mental attitude. Type that in the chat. Your strength is determined by your mental attitude. If this attitude is one of success and is permanently held with an unswerving purpose, you will attract to you from the invincible domain the things you silently demand. By keeping the thought in mind, it will gradually take tangible form. A definite purpose sets causes in motion, which go out in the invisible world and find the material necessary. Okay, let me skip down here to the exercise for this week. Okay, the author says, for your exercise or your homework this week, shout out to Brother Kevin Franklin, my brother. Put him up there on the screen. For your homework this week, your exercise this week, concentrate as nearly as possible in accordance with the method outlined in the lesson. Let there be no conscious effort or activity associated with your purpose. We want you to relax completely. Avoid any thought of anxiety as to results. Remember, the power comes through repose. So sit in the same chair you sit and just get quiet and just think that the thoughts of what you want just kind of dwell there in your body. If you wish to eliminate fear, for example, concentrate on courage. If you want to eliminate lack, concentrate on abundance. If you want to eliminate disease, concentrate on health. Always concentrate on the ideal as if it already happened. So if you want to feel better, concentrate as if you already feel better. Imagine in your mind what it'll feel like when you feel better. Thought is the property of those only who can entertain it. All right, y'all. That is part 17. Let me go back here through some of these comments. This is good stuff because really what it boils down to, what it really boils down to is that we have to learn to use our mind. You can use your mind to make yourself sick. You can use your mind to make yourself hungry, to make yourself tired. You can use your mind to make anything you want. But if you put in your mind whatever it is that you want, if you say, hey, you know what? I want to be 20 pounds lighter. Then you should be concentrating throughout the course of the day on what it feels like to be 20 pounds lighter. Even if you've never been 20 pounds lighter before, you should be thinking about, okay, how am I going to feel when I'm 20 pounds lighter? What's it going to be like? What am I going to wear? How am I going to walk? How am I going to stand? How am I going to look? How am I going to feel? See, I think about, you see this going across the screen down here, the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. So my mind is thinking on that. My mind is already in the space of knowing what it's going to feel like when I walk you through there. Knowing what it's going to feel like when I sit before Allah and say, it's done. Not that he doesn't know that it's done, but I just want to have that conversation with God. I use this even in negotiations. I remember when we were going for our inclusion on the National Registry of Historic Places, and sort of this tactic of mind shift I actually got from my mother, where I said, you know what? This is to certain people. You may not like me. You may not like whose house it is. You may not feel like it belongs on the National Registry. You may not believe that I'll ever get it done, get it there, or get on there. You may not believe. But if you don't believe, just don't bother me. Because if you really believe that I'm not going to make it, then in your mind, you should say, she ain't going to make it no way. And just turn the corner and go the other way. And if I don't make it, then I give you permission to say, I told you so. But when I make it, I won't say to you, I told you so. I will say all praise is due to Allah. So with that, family, make sure, did y'all register for the event? Make sure you register. I should have brought the stuff here so that I could get you guys all registered. But y'all know, go to social media. It's on my Facebook page and on my Instagram page. Somebody says strength is determined by your mind, mental, and that's right. Strength is determined by your mental attitude. That is exactly right. Praise be to Allah. All right, family. Any other thing else? Anything y'all want to say? Give me some feedback. Let's put this up here. Thank you again to our sponsors tonight, Magnolia Crescent. You all probably saw the commercial we did in the show we did this week with One Nation Transport. And we're excited about their new business as well. I explained to y'all what the Black Muslim Business Directory and the new emerging market is. So I ask that you all make a donation, even if you know me, even if you saying I already made one, make another one. SajdahHouseDonations.com. Pray for us. We are on the battlefield and we are fighting. And I believe with the grace of and mercy of Allah that we will surely win. Anyway, any other thoughts before we go, before we get up out of here? I got one last commercial that I want y'all to check out since y'all ain't got nothing to say towards the end here. Let's see. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Let me play this commercial. And then I'm going to let y'all go get something to eat. Get y'all some water. Magnolia Crescent said, that's right. Daily practice creates momentum. Yes. Mm-hmm. Again, thank you, Magnolia Crescent. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Saturday, we'll be back, inshallah, for the Sajdah Saturday morning coffee talks. Tuesday, we're going to be on the Mandeen Muhammad show. I'm going to be on there with Magnolia Crescent Orchard. We'll get you information on that. You'll see a flyer posted, so you can check us out there. We're going to be promoting the event. We're going to be on Crow TV next Sunday. But most importantly, we need y'all there. Let me put this in the chat. May 20th, 2022 at the Silver Room. Y'all come on down, fly in, drive in, come in, show up. That's our fundraiser. And I'm just excited. I love doing events like this. And this is so much fun. And we just want your support. And want you to come out, give us a couple dollars, help us reach our goal I'm talking about it because closed mouths don't get fed. I am over, this is a $4.2 million project. I am $3.286 million in. We ain't got that far left. We are almost there, and we're negotiating and renegotiating along the way. So I'm just excited. If you want to get a t-shirt, a hat, whatever. But just know y'all gonna see me probably when you see me Saturday. I'll be looking sleepy and a little tired like I'm looking now, but I'll rest after the event. We on the battlefield and we will surely win. All right. With the grace and mercy of Allah. All right. So we're going to just play this commercial. I'm going to get up out of here. I will see you all, and I hope to add you to the registrants that are going to be in attendance next week.
This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39mm coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com.